You spent good money on a new laptop. Maybe you were told it was an AI PC, the latest generation, built for the future, faster and smarter than anything that came before it. You brought it home, set it up, opened a few applications, and thought to yourself, this feels exactly like my old computer. Maybe slower, maybe more sluggish, maybe the fan runs hotter, maybe the battery drains faster than you expected for a brand new machine. You were not imagining it, and it is not a defect you can return it for. It is a feature Microsoft built into your computer to do work that has nothing to do with you. Open Task Manager right now if you are on Windows 11, press Control, Shift, Escape, and let it load. Click on the Performance tab. Now look at your CPU usage while your computer is sitting idle. Nothing open, nothing running, just the desktop. On a standard Windows 11 machine, particularly one of the newer AI PCs with a dedicated neural processing unit, you will see processor usage sitting somewhere between 15 and 25%, doing absolutely nothing that you asked it to do. On some machines, it is higher. The fan is running, the battery is draining, the processor is working, and you're sitting there watching a desktop wallpaper. That is not your computer working for you. That is your computer working for Microsoft. Today, I'm going to show you exactly what is consuming those resources, why Microsoft built it this way, what it actually does in the background, and how to turn it off step by step so that the machine you paid for finally starts performing like the machine you paid for. Let us start with what is actually happening inside your computer when it sits idle on Windows 11. Microsoft has spent the last 2 years aggressively embedding artificial intelligence features throughout Windows 11. Copilot, the AI assistant integrated directly into the operating system. Windows Search AI indexing, which uses machine learning models to analyze and categorize every file on your computer. Recall, the feature that takes periodic screenshots of everything you do and processes them through AI models to create a searchable history of your entire computing activity. Live captions. With AI translation, AI-powered photo enhancement running in the background through the Photos app. Intelligent power management systems that use predictive models to anticipate what you will need next and preload it, and a constellation of smaller AI features embedded throughout system applications that most users never explicitly enabled and many do not know exist. Each of these features runs background processes. Each of those processes consumes processor time, memory, and on newer machines, cycles on the dedicated neural processing unit that Microsoft and its hardware partners have been marketing as the defining characteristic of the AI PC generation. That NPU, the chip that was supposed to make your computer faster and smarter, is running Microsoft's background AI workloads while you try to do your actual work. The performance headroom that should be available for your applications, your browser, your creative tools, your games, your video calls, is being consumed by processes running in the background that you never asked for. This is not speculation. Windows developers and performance researchers who monitor system resource usage have documented the baseline overhead of Windows 11's AI features on machines both with and without dedicated NPUs. The consensus finding is consistent. A significant portion of available processing capacity on Windows 11 AI PCs is consumed at idle by Microsoft's background services, and that consumption directly competes with foreground applications when you're actually trying to use your computer. Let us talk about Copilot specifically, because it is the most visible of these features and the one Microsoft has been most aggressive about integrating. Copilot is Microsoft's AI assistant, powered by the same underlying technology as ChatGPT through Microsoft's partnership with OpenAI. On the surface, it is presented as a helpful tool that can answer questions, summarize documents, write emails, and help with tasks. And in isolation, if you use it intentionally, it can be useful. The problem is not Copilot as a tool you choose to use. The problem is Copilot as a background process that runs whether you use it or not. Copilot on Windows 11 is not simply an application that loads when you click its icon. It has background services that maintain persistent connections, that monitor system state, that index content to prepare responses, and that communicate with Microsoft's cloud infrastructure on a continuous basis. Even when you have not opened Copilot, have not asked it anything, have no intention of using it, those background processes are running. They are consuming RAM. They are consuming processor cycles. They are maintaining network connections that use your bandwidth. They are doing work that Microsoft designed them to do, which is to keep the AI layer of Windows constantly ready and constantly connected. The NPU indexing situation is related, but separate and in some ways more concerning. The neural processing unit in AI PCs was designed and marketed as hardware that would run AI workloads efficiently, using less power than the main CPU for machine learning tasks. This is technically true. An NPU does run certain AI workloads more efficiently than a general purpose processor, but the key question is whose AI workloads it is running. Windows 11 uses the NPU to run continuous background indexing processes. The Windows Search Service, which has always done some background indexing, has been expanded in Windows 11 to use AI models that analyze not just the names and basic properties of your files, but their content, their context, the relationships between them, and increasingly their relevance to features like recall. Running these models continuously is what keeps that NPU usage elevated even when you are not doing anything. Your NPU is busy. It is just not busy doing anything you asked it to do. Recall deserves its own discussion because it represents the most significant example of Microsoft's AI features consuming resources for purposes that raise serious questions beyond just performance. Recall, when enabled, takes periodic screenshots of everything happening on your screen. Every document you read, every website you visit, every email you write, every video you watch, every private conversation you have in any application. It processes those screenshots through AI models to extract and index the content, creating a searchable database of your entire computing history. Microsoft frames this as a feature that helps you find things you have seen before. You can search your own activity in natural language, and Recall will find the relevant moment and show you what was on your screen. The privacy implications of this feature have been extensively documented and criticized by security researchers since its announcement. The practical reality is that Recall creates a comprehensive record of everything you do on your computer and stores it locally in a database that, while technically on your machine rather than Microsoft's servers, represents an extremely high-value target for malware and unauthorized access. Security researchers demonstrated within days of Recall's preview release that the database was accessible and its contents extractable in ways that Microsoft's security claims did not prevent. Beyond the security concerns, Recall is one of the most resource-intensive AI features running in the background on machines where it is enabled. The screenshot capture, the processing, the indexing, all of it consumes resources continuously throughout your computing session. Turning off these features is not complicated. It does not require technical expertise or command line knowledge. It requires navigating to the right places in Windows settings and services, and I'm going to walk you through exactly where to go and what to do. Start with Copilot. Go to Settings, then Personalization, then Taskbar. Find the Copilot option and toggle it off. This removes the Copilot button from your taskbar, but it does not stop all Copilot background services. To go further, go to Settings, then Apps, then Installed Apps, and search for Copilot. If it appears as a standalone application, you can uninstall it from there. On some Windows 11 configurations, Copilot is integrated deeply enough that it cannot be fully uninstalled through this method, in which case disabling its services through the Services Manager is the more effective approach, which we will cover shortly. Next, address Windows Recall if your machine has it. Go to Settings, then Privacy and Security, then Recall and Snapshots. You will see an option to turn off saving snapshots. Toggle this off completely. If you want to go further, you can delete the existing snapshot history from the same settings page, which removes the database of previously captured screenshots from your system. For Windows Search AI indexing, go to Settings, and then Privacy and Security, then Search Permissions. Review the options here and disable Cloud Content Search for both Microsoft account and work or school account if those are enabled. Also go to Settings, then Privacy and Security, then Search Windows, and consider changing the indexing scope. Setting it to Classic rather than Enhanced reduces the scope of content that Windows Search analyzes and the AI processing that accompanies it. Now open the Services Manager. Press the Windows key and R simultaneously to open the Run dialog, type Services, .msc, and press Enter. The Services window will open, showing you a list of every service running or configured to run on your Windows installation. In the Services window, look for the following services that are associated with Microsoft's AI and background processing features. Search for Connected User Experiences and Telemetry. This service is responsible for collecting diagnostic and usage data and sending it to Microsoft. Right-click on it, select Properties, change the startup type to Disabled, and click Stop if it is currently running. This reduces the amount of behavioral data being continuously collected and transmitted. Look for any services with names containing Copilot, AI, or Assistant. Depending on your Windows 11 version and update level, these may appear with slightly different names, but they will be identifiable by their descriptions. Right-click each one, open Properties, and set the startup type to Disabled. Find the service called sysmain, also known historically as superfetch. This service attempts to preload applications and data into memory based on predicted usage patterns using machine learning models. On systems with sufficient RAM, it can improve responsiveness, but on systems where RAM is already constrained by other background processes, it often makes performance worse by filling available memory with preloaded content that may not be what you actually need next. Setting sysmain to manual or disabled frees up both memory and the processing cycles it uses to maintain its predictive models. Find the Windows Insider service if it appears on your machine. If you're not deliberately enrolled in Windows Insider Preview programs, this service should be disabled. Its presence indicates additional telemetry and data transmission that is not necessary for normal system operation. After making changes in the Services Manager, restart your computer. When it comes back up, open Task Manager again and look at your idle CPU and NPU usage. On most machines, the combination of changes described here produces a measurable and noticeable reduction in baseline resource consumption. Users who have followed this process consistently report their machines feeling more responsive, applications opening faster, browser performance improving, and battery life extending noticeably on laptop systems. There are additional steps worth taking alongside the service changes. Go to Settings, then System, then Power, and review the power mode settings. Windows 11 on AI PCs sometimes defaults to a power mode that prioritizes performance for background AI tasks rather than for your actual foreground applications. Setting this to balanced rather than best performance can paradoxically improve the performance of what you are actively doing by reducing the resources allocated to background processes. Go to Settings, then Apps, then Startup. Review every application. Configured to start automatically when Windows loads. Disable everything that you do not explicitly need running from the moment your computer boots. Each startup application consumes resources during the boot process and maintains a background presence thereafter. Removing unnecessary startup applications is one of the single highest impact performance improvements available on any Windows system. Go to Settings, then Privacy and Security, and work through every category methodically. App permissions for location, microphone, camera, and other sensors should be reviewed and restricted to only the applications that genuinely require them. Background app settings, which control which applications can receive information, send notifications, and update themselves when you are not actively using them, should be set to the most restrictive level that does not interfere with applications you actually use. Consider what you do with the Windows Widgets panel. The Widgets panel on the Windows 11 taskbar continuously fetches news, weather, and personalized content, running background network requests, and feeding behavioral data back to Microsoft about what content you engage with. Disabling it through Settings, then Personalization, then Taskbar removes this source of continuous background activity. The cumulative effect of all these changes is significant. Not because any single one of them is dramatic in isolation, but because Windows 11's performance overhead is the result of dozens of background systems, each consuming a small slice of your available resources simultaneously. Removing or limiting each of those systems individually adds up to a meaningfully faster, more responsive, more efficient computer. The broader point here is one worth sitting with. You bought a computer, you paid for its processor, its memory, its storage, its NPU. Those resources are finite. When a background process consumes them, it does so at the direct expense of the applications and tasks you are actually trying to run. Every percentage point of CPU usage that Microsoft's AI services consume at idle is a percentage point that is not available for your browser, your creative applications, your games, your productivity tools. Microsoft's AI features were not designed primarily to make your computing experience better. They were designed to integrate Microsoft's AI services into your workflow in ways that create dependency, collect behavioral data, and position Microsoft's ecosystem as indispensable. The NPU that was marketed as making your computer faster is running workloads chosen by Microsoft. The AI indexing that was framed as helping you find things as building a detailed record of your computing behavior. The always-on connectivity of Copilot's background services is maintaining a persistent channel between your computer and Microsoft's infrastructure. Turning these features off does not break your computer. It does not remove security protections. It does not prevent you from using Copilot or Windows Search when you explicitly choose to. It simply returns control of your hardware's resources to you, the person who owns the hardware, for the work you actually want it to do. Your computer is a tool. The processor inside it, the memory, the storage, the NPU, all of it exists to serve your needs, not Microsoft's data strategy. Not an AI ecosystem that benefits a corporation in Redmond. Yours. Take back your resources. Disable what you did not ask for, and let your computer do what you bought it to do.